When you get to your nursing interview, you need to answer your question in the STAR method. And this is how the STAR method works. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori. If you are new here, I am a family nurse practitioner and I talk nursing, health and fitness. If you're interested in any of that, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also click that notification bell so you are not missing out of any of my content. Now, today's video is for my new grad nurses. I want to talk to you guys about finding a job as a new grad nurse because honestly, I think there is a myth associated with nurses and finding a job. Even when I graduated from nursing school 10 years ago, I graduated from nursing school in 2010. So even at that time, a lot of people would say, you don't have to worry about finding a job. You don't have to do nothing. You're going into a career where there's so much shortage of nurses. You're going to find a job just like that. Listen, people, that is a myth. That is not the truth. We still have nurses who struggle to land a job, especially when you're a newer nurse and you don't have any experience. So in this video, I am definitely going to give you guys 5 tips that's going to help you to land your job as a new grad nurse sooner rather than later. The first tip, and I feel like I preach this a lot on my channel, and that is to work as a PCT, a CNA, a nurse tech, something in the capacity with patient care before you graduate as a nurse. Try to work in that capacity. Number one, you're going to get a slew of experience that you're not going to get when you're in nursing school. And number two, you are already in the hospital system working, so it's going to be easier for you 90% of the time to land a job in that hospital. Maybe not on the unit that you're working on. It's going to give you an upper hand in landing your first job over your counterpart who has none of this experience. And I know I say this all the time, working as a CNA before working as a nurse. I even have a whole video about this. I will link it in the cards, whichever one of these. Number 2 tip, apply to everything. When I say apply to everything, I mean do not shy away from areas like the ICU. Do not shy away from these things, because I do feel like sometimes when you're a newer grad nurse, people give you the advice that do not apply to critical care areas. You need to go to MEDSURG first. BS. I was a new grad in the ICU, and actually I'm going to make another video about getting into the ICU as a new grad nurse. Apply for it. You never know. I applied for the ICU on the advice of one of my friends, and I was very nervous to even do it, and she was like, why not? So apply to all of these positions that you see. Do not shy away from them, you know, because you never know if your desire really is not to like work in labor and delivery or some of those type of areas. I get it. Tip number 3, try to do some volunteer services when you are in school. If you can't get into the hospital working, they will allow you to volunteer. So if you can volunteer in the hospital, once your presence is there, then you start having conversation with different people in the hospital or even in nursing home setting or anything like that. There's a lot of volunteer programs, and I have seen nursing student, even high school student, who come into the hospitals and they do volunteer stuff, and we see them, and then they go to nursing school and then they get jobs working on a lot of these nursing floors as the CNA, as the PCT. So try to volunteer in nursing home settings, long-term care setting, the hospital setting. If you volunteer and you're working alongside patient, this is patient contact. You're having contact with patient, and you can say that in your interview, and nurse managers like this. So that is definitely a tip that I will give you that will kind of boost your chances in landing your job. Tip number 4, you need to be prepared for your interview. You need to ace these interviews when you get them. A lot of times it's hard for you to get this interview. Knock this interview out the box. When you get to your nursing interview, you need to answer your question in the STAR method. And this is how the STAR method works. So the STAR method pretty much stands for S for your situation, your T is for your task, the A is for your action that you took, and your R is for what result came from the action that you took. And a lot of these nursing interview questions ask you things like, tell me a time when you went above and beyond to satisfy a patient that was upset with whatever you were doing. You can pull this from your clinical experience. Even if you gotta make something up, make it up. I'm just saying, but try to answer it in this method. Explain what the situation was, explain what the task was, explain what the action was that you took, and then also explain what was the result that came from all of that. If you answer it in this format, it makes you look well prepared. It makes you look like, oh, this girl got it together. So try to answer your questions in this method. You didn't work as a nurse before, but you did clinicals, and I'm pretty sure you were in clinicals and patients were upset or things happened, even if you didn't do it and the preceptor that you had, like if you do one of those internship type things, even if it's not clinicals and it's something that you saw the preceptor do, you can bring it into your interview and give that example. You got to pull from wherever areas you can pull from the little experience that you have. Tip number 5, go to all of these job searches that they have. When I tell you, a lot of these hospitals put on a lot of job searches and they'll send emails out. If you don't know anyone that work at the hospital, you know, there's a lot of different ways to find out. Google it, go onto their website. They will put it on their website that they're having different job searches. And listen, at these job searches, the managers for a lot of these units are at these job searches. And be prepared when you go there. Bring your resume, talk to these managers. And even if it's a unit that you really don't want, say for instance you really want to work in the ICU, the job is for the neuroscience ICU and you really hate neuroscience, honestly, I think you can still take that job for like a 6 months period, and you have to kind of be in those positions for 6 months to be transferred to the other unit. This is actually a good way to get you to the next ICU that you want to be in, because you already are working in the hospital, you're already working in the ICU, and you have ICU experience. It's easier to have some ICU experience versus no ICU experience to move to whichever one you want to work at. So those are my 5 tips that I wanted to give all my new grad nurses who are struggling to find a job. My neighbors are doing construction. I'm very sorry. Those are the 5 tips. Don't forget to like this video if you found any value at all in this content. Also, comment down below. Let me know what you are doing to land your first job. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys up on my next one. Bye guys.